Here's the secret to fixing knee pain that no one else is talking about. You see, your knee issue may be the symptom of a problem that's happening elsewhere, and in this case, it's more than likely that it's happening in the hips. Just think of the hips this way. If you take the example of a coffee cup and you take the lid and the cup, you want to think about your hips like the lid and the rest of your body like the cup. Now, if my hips and the rest of my body are aligned, it's going to seal nicely in and it's going to work well in alignment with each other. However, if my hips are misaligned, perhaps they're too tight in the front, too tight in the back, this is going to make the lid sit unevenly with the rest of the body. And if you think about how that might manifest if I were to have a drink of this cup of coffee, it's going to spill everywhere and cause damage elsewhere. So the case for you may be that your hips are misaligned and the damage is manifesting itself within the knee. And I'm going to show you 3 ways in which you can fix this and get your hips working in line with the rest of your body. So we're first going to address the front of the leg, specifically the hip flexor. Now the reason this is important is because if this area remains tight, it'll pull your pelvis forward and that's going to put excess pressure on your knees. The weight of your pelvis has shifted forward and that means that it's putting too much pressure on your knee. If you think about a bike and you're at center, it's going to be evenly distributed between the back tire and the front tire. However, if you start to lean forward, that's going to put more pressure on your front tire. The tread of the front bike wheel is going to break down easier. And this is a similar motion to how when your pelvis shifts forward, it puts more pressure on the front of your knee and the thread in your knee breaks down easier. So what we want to do to make sure that this isn't an issue for us is loosen out this front area. And this is my favorite way to do that. You want to set up against a platform like this that won't move, and you want to set up on a set of pads. What you're going to do is just pop your foot against the platform like so, stand tall and squeeze your glute. You'll feel this stretch along the front in your hip flexor, and this is exactly what's going to help take the pressure off the front of the knee. You want to hold this stretch for 30 seconds, do it twice on each leg, and we also want to do this daily. And by doing this consistently, you'll be able to naturally climb a little higher with your foot, and that will be evidence that you're loosening out this area and taking more pressure off the knee. One way you can measure this is by using a caliper such as this one, where you'll start the center point beside your knee and the first arm of the caliper in line with your ankle of the foot against the platform. My starting angle is 118 degrees. By doing this consistently within 7 days, I can expect to increase this angle by up to 10 degrees. So here we are now at 129 degrees. As you consistently do it, you'll be able to go further and further up the platform, and you'll know you're taking so much pressure off the front of the knee by loosening out this hip flexor. The next area that we want to target is the back of the hip area here, called the piriformis. And before I speak about that, I just want you to think about how children play on the floor for a moment. If you think about how they swing their legs to the right, they swing their legs everywhere. They know nothing about hip mobility. They're not tight anywhere. They haven't had the life to sit down and let their hips get all tight. The reason not being able to swing your legs to the left and right may be a problem is because you have 2 bones situated just below your knee, and they're somewhat like a laptop. If you think about it, if I open this laptop and I try and push my laptop any further than is healthy, it's gonna snap. If you're very tight in this area, these bones are going to be asked to do a lot of the work when it comes to like moving from side to side, and that's why a lot of knee dislocations happen, because this area is super tight. And rather than being flexible, your knee and below the knee is asked to handle the demands of swinging from side to side. So here's one way that you can loosen out this area in order to take a lot of pressure off this area just below the knee. You're probably wondering why I had this pencil in my ear, and this is why. I want you to set up against a platform like this with your legs stretched out, and we're going to push the outside of our knee towards the ground, and we should feel a great stretch in that area I described in the back of the hip. And we're simply just going to hold this for 30 seconds. And again, I want you to do this twice on each side daily. What I also want you to do is mark the point that's directly in line with the front of your shoulder. And then I want to challenge you daily to try and get a little bit further into the stretch. You'll feel it deep in this hip here, and loosening out that area, you'll know that you're moving in the right direction towards taking pressure off the knee. And again, in 7 days time, mark where you are, and you can expect to improve up to 4 inches by going a little deeper here and doing this daily. Measure your 2 points using a ruler or a tape measure, and in this case, yes, I've changed 4 inches within going from here to going from here. And you can expect a similar result just by doing it daily again, twice for 30 seconds each side daily. So we're now at a point where we know that by targeting the front area here of the hip flexor, we're going to take a lot of pressure off the front of the knee, as well as targeting this area here, the piriformis. We're going to really make that knee a bit more mobile. At this point, by doing this, you have taken a lot of pressure off the knee. But there's one important thing that's left to consider. If we go back to our earlier reference of your hips being like the cap and the rest of your body being like the cup, if you've done the work on the hips, your hips are now at a point where they're more healthily aligned with the rest of your body. Remember before, if your hips are misaligned, it's going to be somewhat like this cup being misaligned. And when you go to drink from it, coffee goes everywhere. So imagine for a second that although you're at a place now where your hips are more aligned with the rest of your body, because your hips were sitting like this for a period of time, and your knees are put under all that pressure from your hips being aligned like this, it means that it's more than likely the case that your deep knee structures need to be repaired somewhat from all the pressure that has been dumped on it for the period of time that you are misaligned. We're back in alignment with our hips. We now just need to wipe the floor of the damage that's done to the carpet in this case. Here's the perfect way that you can do that. We're just going to set up on a box like this, and we're going to work one leg at a time. For me, I don't want anybody that I work with to have one leg being stronger than the other, because this is another very common cause of knee pain. We're going to go one knee at a time. What we're going to do is use our back leg to balance, but this is also going to get a bit of a workout, so don't put all your weight onto one leg. We want you to stay balanced. And again, you're going to feel it in the hips here, so it's going to enhance our hip mobility even more, which is important, like we spoke about earlier. What I want you doing from here is just to push your knee further and further towards the point where you're over your toe. It's going to improve your ankle mobility a lot as well. And what we want to do is just come in and out of this movement for 8 reps on each leg. I want you to do this every second day, and I want you to do it for 3 rounds, again, on each leg. The goal is just to push to the point that's furthest without feeling pain. If it's too sore to go here, don't go there yet, you're not ready. Just find a zone that's comfortable that you can get into, pain-free, and just perform your 8 reps and feel the stretch along your back leg all the while. I also want you to consider how you know that you're moving in the right direction towards repairing these deep structures within the knee that may have been damaged as a result of your hips being misaligned and dumping pressure onto your knees. And you can use the calipers to do this really well. If you think about how I am at 86 degrees as of now, and what I want to do is, again, we're going to rep this out, 8 reps every second day, 3 rounds. And what you'll start to notice is that you can go a little bit further each time. So what I want you to do is get your starting point. So for me, I'm going to get one leg just aligned at my ankle, the other is touching against my hip. And here I'm at 88 degrees. So if my max right now is 101 degrees, and that's comfortable, I can't go any further. If I go any further, I may experience pain. I just want to go to here. And over time, within 10 days, you'll notice that your knee will be able to go further and further and further. You can expect to improve up to 5 degrees within 10 days. You'll know you're moving in the right direction. You'll know you're repairing these deep structures within the knee. And again, it's important that you do this on both sides. So to recap on everything that we spoke about today, a very common cause of knee pain that no one else is talking about is the fact that your issue in the knee is only a symptom of the wider problem, which is in your hips. So the 3 ways that we want to address this common problem is by first loosening out the front hip flexor, which will take a lot of the pressure that our pelvis dumps onto our knees. And by loosening out this area, we can take that pressure off. And the way we address that is by doing the couch stretch twice daily for 30 seconds each side. So then we want to take the pressure off from the back of our hip, and we did that using the pigeon pose. Again, we want to do this twice daily for 30 seconds each side and gradually move our way down the wall, because we'll know that our ability is improving if we can do so. And then, like I said, even if your hips are once again aligned with the rest of your body, like I described with the coffee cup, there might be some damage to the deeper structures within your knee as a result of all the time that you spent with your hips misaligned, dumping pressure onto your knees. So what we do to tackle this is the split squat, where we do 3 sets of 8 on each leg. Again, trying to improve the flexion within our knee. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more. And also comment where you are now with all of these exercises. Let me know where you are now, as well as an update where you are within 7 days of doing these. I'd love to hear how much you've improved, and I'd also love to hear any observations, comments or questions that you may have otherwise.